Good morning and welcome to today's Smart Business Strategies podcast. I am Anna Wiles, the franchise economist, and I am delighted to have a special guest, Zach Butler here, founder and franchisor and CEO of Jungle Driving. Welcome to the show, Zach.
Well, I'm not the founder, Anna, but the founder's a partner. I'm blessed to have him a part of the team, but it's my absolute pleasure to be here today.
Well, Zach, start us off and share with the audience a little bit about you. You've got an amazing background in franchising and about Jungle Driving.
Yeah, my background's really unique in franchising. If you look at the different relationships as a table, I've been a part of a brand as it became a franchise. I've been an early adopter. I've been a multi-brand franchisee, failed franchisee, franchisor, consultant, development. So I've really sat on, and Jungle Driving is actually my 10th brand as a franchisor. And
Wow.
So been around the block and seen a thing or two. And so through that journey, you learn a lot. You learn more of what not to do than what to do, which leads to my favorite quote, which is, "Good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions." But I think I got a text from a retired franchise consultant that said, "Are you still looking for brands?" And I said, "Always." And it was, "What are your thoughts on a driver's ed concept for teenagers?" And I remember looking at my phone going, "Sure, I'll make a call." And the call started off with, "Hi, my name is Fred, and I started this 20 years ago, and me and a partner decided that this was something we just had to do. And my partner built the driver safety program for one of the largest package delivery companies on earth, took that methodology into a business specifically for saving teen lives." And I was just like, mind blown. And so we worked through some things for about 6 to 9 months. And it was very apparent that this was something that we had to do to bring this across the country. And the founder, Fred, franchising was not his background, but saving kids' lives was. And so the partnership is perfect for us.
Well, it is an amazing story, and I know the audience is thrilled to hear directly from you how this came to be. And so what makes Jungle Driving different from other driving schools?
So the first thing that I did is when I learn about a new concept, I first go to some specific areas around the country. I go to North Dallas, West Houston, Charlotte, South Denver, Austin, Nashville, the markets where I know that we're going to need a presence. And I start looking at competition, and it was crazy how consistently bad the competition was. It was all boring, DMV driven, and there was nothing about a specific curriculum that is interactive or an experience. It's all going through the motions like you would go through at the DMV. And the first thing I looked at is that we can bring a national brand to this industry that doesn't exist. We can bring technology, sophistication, and process, which doesn't exist. But over the last 20 years, Fred and his wife have built this specific curriculum to keep kids alive that has a unique way of helping them identify risk before catastrophe. And so it all came to head when I did a ride along, and this young gal was driving with Fred in the driver's seat, and I was in the back. And all of a sudden I hear her say, "Oh, there's a hyena on my butt." And I look behind to see what is she talking about, and there's a car riding her pretty close. And then all of a sudden I hear Fred say, "Watch out, there's a crocodile coming up here." And so after the drive, I said, "Fred, first of all, what is a crocodile?" And he said, "Well, Zach, that's a car getting ready to pull out of the parking lot where if you're not careful, it'll drag you to your death." And then I said, "Okay, and what in the heck's a hyena?" And he said, "Well, you don't want to be one of those. They're the worst drivers. They butt sniff all the other cars, weave in and out of traffic. They're the worst ones on the road, Zach." And so they have this way of making it fun in the car to help them identify. Then in the classroom, they have a unique way of just keeping kids engaged. And that is missing from this industry.
It most certainly is. I can tell you my two sons, when they went through driver's ed, it was like torture. I mean, it was torture for a teenager to sit there and take it all. I'm just as enthralled as you are. This is wonderful, Zach. Now, help the audience understand, what is the role of the owner? How is he or she spending their day?
Well, there's two owner paths that we have. We have a franchisee that could be in the business full time, and that's their major focus. And they're going to be managing the day to day. They're going to be driving kids, teaching classes, etc. We also have a role where they can manage a manager, where the manager is doing those day-to-day activities, and then the franchisee is more managing the expectations, the process, and doing a lot of business development.
So whether it's owner operator or manage the manager, what I'm hearing you say, Zach, is that the owner is still going to be very active in their community, networking with schools, parents, teachers, youth organizations, scouts organizations, sports, that sort of thing, wherever their parents and potential drivers. Is that right?
100%. If it was as easy as flipping a light switch, I don't think we'd franchise it. We'd just keep opening them up all over. But you got to get out there and run a business. I mean, businesses aren't easy, but gosh, they're rewarding.
They absolutely are, and especially one that helps teenagers stay safe on the road. All right. So who makes an ideal candidate for jungle driving? Who are you looking for, Zach?
Yeah, when I went back through the last decade of all the candidates that I've placed in different types of brands, interacting with the experience-wise, who did I think would be the best fit? And then after talking with Fred, it was very apparent that we're looking for, ideally, it's the couple that has teenagers, that's really active in their community, that has a really outgoing, fun, and energetic personality. You're going to hire people similar to your own values and your own personality. And so we have to have people that are the franchisees that are going to make sure that the experience to the teenagers is maintained. It's got to be a fun, energetic place to be. And, so that's really who we're looking for, and who we're not looking for. We're not looking for the CFO, CTO that wants to be behind the scenes and crunch numbers. We want someone that's going to really push the experience out into their community and do good.
People who love people, people who love meeting people, and that is just their modus operandi. Never met a stranger. All right.
Exactly right.
All right. So let's talk about the labor model. Who are the instructors? Where do they come from? And do you help recruit them?
So the instructors get a state certification. So we can find someone that meets our values and then take them through that program and then get them trained on, as we call it, the Jungle Way. We have a recruitment process where they can recruit existing instructors. And if we really have to bring in the big guns, we can bring in a third-party recruiter that we've used to help identify them for the franchisees.
Well, isn't it common for a lot of your instructors to be, they're already teachers and coaches?
Teachers and coaches make fantastic instructors because, the after school time and the summer are the prime time for us. And so it's a way for them to earn extra money. They already have the relationships at the schools, et cetera. So that's a fantastic partner for us to have.
All right, great. All right. And this show is called Smart Business Strategies. So what is a smart business strategy that Jungle Driving uses that you'd like to share with the audience?
So we put together a referral program that is really unique. And so what I knew is that we were going to have 20 to 30 kids in a class that can go out and tell other kids about their experience. And so we integrated an app with our CRM. So imagine there's 20 kids in a class and I say, who wants to make 50, 100, 250 bucks today? Raise your hand. Perfect. Scan this QR code. They scan the QR code. They text out personalized invitations to their friends. And it integrates with our CRM. So if I texted you and told you to sign up and you went on and bought and paid, it would immediately send me a $50 referral fee that I could
that's
into my
fantastic.
Venmo, my bank account. And so we've got a unique way to turn our existing customers into our own marketers in the community.
And teenagers love instant gratification. So that's awesome, Zach. That's really thinking outside the box. There's some other things that I think are really, jungle driving is very special in many ways. A couple of things I'd love for you to speak to is that, you as a founder and a franchisor, you've got a very specific way that you operate any franchise. Can you speak to that to the audience?
Well,
The EOS system.
yeah, we use EOS. I'm a big believer in that with a few modifications. I think you have to build a business with a network of accountability, measurables, and a vision that your team can understand and can participate with. And so I love the EOS model. I think that is a fantastic benchmark for anybody to start. And so we've taken that and we actually push that all the way down to our franchisees as well. Now, I think where I provide a unique experience is I've been a franchisee that's failed. So I have a lot of empathy for franchisees and business owners and what they're going through. And so we really make sure that we're supportive more than we are big brother. We want to make sure that they're going to have issues, but we want to make sure that we can assist franchisees with being successful. Obviously, not do the work for them, but we want to make sure that we're there to help when they need it.
Mm-hmm. And I also love you're a fan of Peter Drucker. You say what gets measured gets managed.
I'm a big data guy, and in my past life I owned a bunch of retail nutrition franchises, and our business model changed so rapidly where our core business couldn't keep the lights on anymore. And so we really had to get out and we had to do a lot of things that where we knew the result. For an example, let's say the result was new customers. We put together these things that would be the activities, and then we found ways to actually measure the effort of the activities. And so I think if you can measure the things that move the needle, you can really change your business quickly.
And you've done this 10 times.
This is the 10th one that I've been a franchisor on, and I think I've either done development, consulted with, or been a part of 10 or 12 others.
Well, Zach, as a franchise advisor for 20 years, one of the things that I hear almost always is I want a recession-resistant business. I want a need, not a want. Can you speak to jungle driving and how it checks all those boxes beautifully?
Yeah, well, this is a mandated service in quite a few states, over 30 some states across the country, and even Nebraska. We're not technically a mandated state. They have the option to do different programs, but it's still a significant demand here. You're going to wait to get your house re-roofed to make sure that your kid is safe. So kid safety is at the utmost important. So no matter what happens, this is a service that kids have to have, and that parents aren't going to sacrifice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Zach, we are out of time. If someone wants to learn more about jungle driving, what should they do?
Well, the first thing that I would do if I was them is I'd reach out to you to make sure that based on their net worth, liquidity, background, preference, and personality, what brands are going to fit right for them, and see if we're a fit.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to do that. And Zach, I want to thank you so much for sharing about this new, exciting, emerging franchise with my audience. Audience, this is Zach Butler with Jungle Driving. Thanks for being here, Zach.
It was a pleasure, Anna. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want you to come back. And audience, thank you for watching and listening. And be sure to come back next week at noon to hear about an essential service home-based business. You're not going to want to miss it. Make it a priority to be here. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. See you next week, and be wildly wealthy in all areas of your life. Bye-bye.